Good morning, you listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning my guest is Brett Marx, the president of ACF-Gardner Distribution. Brett, how you doing?
I'm doing well today, Ken, and yourself?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you. Talking to you because of this news yesterday that you've done a merger acquisition and taken on Gardner Industries, and so now you have basically three companies you've brought together. You have ACF, which stands for All County Flooring, and you've got All Floor Supply, and now you've got Gardner Industries together as a combined distribution company, right?
That is correct, yes.
And I'd like to talk about that in a minute. Before we get to that, though, I'd like to talk about your background. How did you end up getting focused in the distribution business in the flooring industry?
Distribution is my background. So I grew up around distribution. My father, for 30 years, owned a distribution business in the medical devices industry, distributing orthopedic implants. Growing up, I always worked for him. So why flooring? So it actually all started with cabinetry and millwork about 7 years ago. You know, my brothers and I, we decided we wanted to get into business. And so we went looking for an existing distributorship, and we actually found a distributor of custom cabinetry and millwork, which was our first business that we decided to buy. So we bought that 7 years ago now, and we wanted another distribution business that we could call on similar architects, designers, contractors that we had relationships with. So we thought flooring was a great entree for that. So I found ACF was for sale back in 2018. In April of 2018, we closed on our first flooring distributor, which was ACF Distributors. That was our entree to the flooring industry.
Okay, and so now your game plan is to move forward and find other similar distribution companies that you might be able to acquire and consolidate and kind of build a group that works together, right?
So, yeah, essentially that's what we're looking to accomplish here. So after about 2 years of owning ACF, we had successfully grown the business by about 40%. So, again, we thought, let's look to extend our footprint. Mm-hmm. So about Q4 of 2019, we started actively looking for acquisitions. We spoke to a bunch of people. Some people were ready, some people weren't. And we went ahead and we acquired All Floor Supply in Boynton Beach, Florida, as of March 2020, right before things got really interesting with COVID. So that's what happened early this year. And then as we were implementing and integrating All Floor Supply into ACF, I got a call from another gentleman that we were interested in speaking with. That was Gardner Industries. Yeah. So in May of 2020, just a couple months after we acquired All Floor Supply, we started working on acquiring Gardner Industries. Mm-hmm. And that took about until the end of the year. As you can see, we closed on December 31st of 2020. So we made two acquisitions in 2020, All Floor Supply in March, and Gardner in December.
Yeah. And you're calling it ACF-Gardner. That's the name of the company.
That's correct. So Gardner Industries has a really long-standing history. There's a lot of goodwill attached to that name. They've been around for 40-plus years. Yeah. They are a staple in the flooring market in this geography. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to maintain that Gardner name, and I felt the same exact applied for ACF. ACF, originally All County Flooring, has a 40-plus year history as well. And also for the mechanics and installation professional, we are a staple in our geography.
So you're based in Farmingdale, New York, the business?
That's correct. We are headquartered in Farmingdale.
Yeah. And you focus mostly on commercial-type projects? So
that's what was interesting about the Gardner acquisition for us. Prior to Gardner, ACF and All Floor Supply were about 80% commercial, 20% residential.
Right.
As COVID developed, our commercial business definitely on the volume definitely took a little bit of a hit, but our residential was extremely strong. Mm-hmm. Gardner, when I look at that as a standalone business, was almost the exact inverse of ACF, where it was really 80% residential, 20% commercial. So bringing these two companies together, quite honestly, it just makes us a much more well-rounded company with nice revenues and a 50-50 split of residential and commercial.
You know, when you look at distributors, the way they kind of set up their USP, it's generally around a service area or a similar set of suppliers. And it's interesting to see what you've got going here, because you've got a New Jersey company, that's Gardner, was based in New Jersey. You've got a New York company, and then you've got a Florida company. It's not exactly around a service area. To explain kind of how all those fit together.
Sure. So the logic with All Floor Supply being down in Florida is essentially, there's a lot going on in New York right now, and even prior to COVID, There was a lot going on. For a lot of our developer relationships and our multifamily relationships, I saw a little bit of writing on the wall, and I noticed a lot of them were looking elsewhere from New York for their acquisitions. And I have some friends, and we actually own some real estate together. We bought some units down in the Florida area, so having a distribution area that could service those kinds of jobs and those relationships we had existing was important for us.
Yeah.
That's how we ended up in Florida.
How are you sorting through your brands? Because I noticed you've got Phoenix and Shaw and Engineered Floors and Armstrong and Burke and Laticrete and Carndine. Are you able to work those into all three of your companies, or how's that working out?
So as much as possible, we want to have duplication of offering in each branch. What's interesting is ACF and AFS, all floor supply, they were much more heavily on the sundry side. So about 77% of the ACF business is sundry and supply, and only 23% is floor covering. So we never had a strong label or brand that we owned, so we always represented the major mills out there. The difference with Gardner is he has spent time on developing his label, Spectrum Collection Flooring. He's traveled the world and established manufacturing direct relationships, and we have a comprehensive private label in Spectrum Collection that we are going to adopt into each of our locations as our floor covering options.
I see.
For sundries, we like to tout our major manufacturers. Those are our vendor partners, and we work as a team when we go after projects. So we were always a big Laticrete house up in New York. We're a big Laticrete house down in Florida, and when we introduce the sundries to Gardner clients, Laticrete will be a part of that as well. Parabond will be a big part of that. We've represented Parabond in New York and Farmingdale, and now down in Florida, and we've had success with them. So our successful sundry adhesive suppliers are going to be out of all of our locations, and the Spectrum Collection Flooring is going to be in all of our locations.
Isn't that interesting? While on the sundry side, the brands are important, but on the actual wear surface side, a lot of people in the distribution business are going private labels. How do you explain that?
You know what it is on the floor covering side? I think we offer just as much value as the major mills. We're holding tons of local stock. We're offering great price points on tons of different floor covering options. And when you're looking at the quality of product, we have the ability to specify our manufacturing process to whatever specifications we want. So we can match every high-quality product out there, and that's what I think we've done. We've put together, a three-tiered SPC rigid core vinyl offering that's got three different specifications hitting three different price points, all with tons of local stock. So we can actually mobilize and get material to job sites and customers and dealers' showrooms a lot quicker sometimes than some of these major mills because of the relationships we've established and because of the stocking position we've taken in our lines.
All right, Brett, we're about to run out of time. I appreciate you spending time with us and telling us about ACF-Gardner Distribution Business. Again, we're talking to Brett Marx, the president of ACF-Gardner, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.